Okay, in this video I will show you how to make your perfect pattern that fits your foot perfectly for your new Viking shoes. These are my old Viking shoes. It's a simple Haithabu style Viking shoe that has been repaired over and over again, and it just keeps getting worn out in those exposed places. The first thing you want to do is you want to put on your Viking socks, nail-bound socks, so make sure your new shoes will fit you with these socks on. Now wrap your foot with thin strips of thin layers of newspaper. In fact, any kind of paper would do. Once you make sure the newspaper is covering your entire foot and up and around the ankle, you hold the newspaper in place with duct tape. Make sure to keep your ankle bent at a 90-degree angle all the way through the process. I use multiple layers, and I go around the foot in different directions to make sure I have a nice layer of duct tape covering all the newspaper. I ran out of duct tape, so I had to continue using this black stretchy tape, but it worked just fine. When you're happy, cut the ankle line straight and mark the center of the top of your foot where you're going to cut and where the seam is going to be. Cut gently and make sure not to cut into your nail-bound sock. I use a knife very gently to scratch the surface of the tape until I can pull my foot out. With a white pen, I mark the transection between the sole and the upper, and at the heel of my foot I mark a triangle that makes the sole raise up over your heel. Then I cut it out and I end up with a perfect pattern for my sole and a pattern for the upper part of my shoe. I transfer the pattern onto a piece of paper, and I add in each side of the shoe a flap. I draw this by eye. These will fold over and be the closing mechanism, as you saw on my worn out shoes earlier. Mark what foot is what foot. I use a 2 to 3 mm thick goat leather, vegetable tanned, and I use an awl or a sharp needle to scratch out or to mark out my pattern onto the leather. I don't want any marks from a pen. And make sure to flip your pattern over when you trace out the other foot on your leather. I don't add any seam allowance, as I know it will fit nicely because of the newspaper adding an extra layer. Now I cut out the leather simply with a pair of scissors. I also mark the inside of my shoes. For the soles, I use a 5 to 6 mm thick leather. This is from a cow, and again I scratch out the pattern with an awl. I mark the middle of the sole, and here I have used a pen just to show you. I extend the tip of the toe a tiny bit into a triangular shape, and at the heel I extend around 2 centimeters that triangle and just follow the lines down to meet the point. This will give the foot more shape. Normally I wouldn't use the pen here, but it makes it easy to show you guys what I'm doing. And I mark again every part so I know where it goes. I use a sharp knife to cut out the sole. It is very easy, you just need to take care. Here you can see the tip I added will raise up, and again the heel will come up and make it nice for your heel to be inside your shoe. Now we have our complete pattern, 2 uppers, all marked. We have 2 soles, and I cut a thin strip for lacing.